Okay, so picking up where we left off yesterday. So if we look at a radical, so far all we've looked at is square roots, yes? But we talked about on Wednesday that square roots aren't the only type of root. There's third roots, there's fourth roots, there's fifth roots, etc. Okay? So what I want to do is talk through a couple rules and then do some higher power square roots. First thing we got to talk about is this. Can you have a negative number underneath a radical?
No.
Depends.
It depends. You're right. If it's under a square root, can I have a negative number? No. This actually has an answer. It's where the concept of I comes in, and we'll talk about that later. Hopefully you remember that. But the rule is this. If the power of the root is even, you cannot have negatives. So if you have your nth root is even, okay, you cannot have negative radicants. So the number under the radical cannot be negative if the power is negative or is even. So if you have a square root, a fourth root, a sixth root, a 50th root, you cannot have those because you cannot take even roots. Because again, we're looking for groups of 2. Well, a negative times a negative is a positive. So you can never have an even number of negatives give you a negative answer. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Now, if that is odd, so if I have this, something like that, I can find that. So if you have if your nth root is odd, that's okay. You can do that. You can do that. How does that work? How that works is this. So I put -8 in the box. Put -8 in the box. First thing I pull out is the negative. Radicand, yes. Radicand just means the number under the radical. Oh no, sorry, my handwriting gets sketchy. All right, what goes in 8? 2 and 4, 2 and 2, 2 and 1. Since it's a third root, I'm looking for groups of 3. So the third root of 8 is just -2.
Why is it?
So the negative, I pull the negative out to be able to work with it. So then I automatically know my answer has to be negative. So you pull the -1 out, and then what I usually do is I just draw an arrow right to my answer so I know where that negative came from. So if you have a negative radical that has an odd root, your answer is always going to be negative.
So that doesn't have to go back under.
No, doesn't have to go back under. Yep.
You know, you could just pull it out as an I in the beginning and work your problem like you normally do, and then just put the negative back in to put it because a negative number and an I, like even.
You could. Yeah,
And then just put it back in.
you can. But we just don't worry about even exponents. Okay? So, here's what I will tell you. Looking at the rest of the worksheet here, you should now be able to do, for a problem like number 4, that's a fourth root. So now instead of looking for groups of 2, I'm looking for groups of 4. Okay? You should be able to do problems 2, 4. We haven't talked about 6 and 8 yet. 6, 7, or 8. 10. And then do problem number 16 for me. And that's it.
No. Oh, wait, you are?